Hey everybody, this is Troy Alexander. We are back with the Hour of Faith with Troy Alexander one more time. I'm excited about what God has done and what he's doing, what he's already done. I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. Listen, I got a lot to share tonight, and I got a wonderful guest that's going to come on in a little bit. But listen, from last month, right now, y'all know we only do this show once a month, every third Thursday night of the month. But I'm excited because God has done so much for me. From last month to this month, I was telling God, I said, Lord, what is it that you want me to share tonight, like testimonial about what you done did for me? The Lord said, I was praying on the show tonight. He said, tell him about the penalty fee that was already paid. I said, all right, Lord, I'll tell him about that. Listen, I was having an event at a venue, and somehow God changed up, and he said, not now. And so when I spoke to the venue, you know how you got to have there's a fee. So not only is there a deposit, but if you shut something down and do it at a different time or cancel it altogether, there's a penalty fee. Well, guess what? When I spoke to the person in charge, they said the fee has been waived. All I'm telling you is you can't make this up. When you are connected with God and trusting God and following his lead, every provision that you need is already in place. Listen, I don't have to figure this out. You don't have to figure this out. God said, in all thy ways, do what? Acknowledge me, and I will direct you. So I'm telling you right now, I want to give my praise report tonight about the penalty. You trying to figure out how it's going to get paid, what's going to work out. Listen, I was counting my money, y'all, because I had a lot of stuff that was upcoming. But the Lord said it's already been paid. I'm telling you right now, whatever you're dealing with, God said, I paid the price. God said everything that's aligned with your purpose and your destiny, God said it's already in place. You ain't got to figure, God said, cast all your cares upon me. Why? Because I care for you. Everything is aligned. I need you to know that everything God has for your life is already in line with what he has already spoken for. God said, it's already been written. God said, everything that you need, God said, I will supply what? Your every need according to his riches and glory. I'm telling you right now, this is where God is bringing us to a place. And I told y'all, this is like my third show, y'all. My third show, Hour of Faith. Because what God has, listen, he wants us to relate to him as he is God. Like I read the word, but don't look at the Red Sea like it's so far distant. Don't look at the 2 fish and 5 loaves by faith, God said that took place. I choose to believe God. I wasn't there, but I choose to believe who God is. I'm telling you right now, we're excited about what God is doing, and he's getting ready to do so much more. Listen, y'all know that we do a Project I Am every morning post. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning on a prayer call at 5:30, and between 5:30 and 6, God just give me something to write. I sit at the laptop, and God talks to me, and I'll type. I've been doing that for like 6-7 years, but it's wonderful to be able to hear God's voice. I'm telling you, God is talking right now. I hear God. Listen, the Lord said, I got a word for you before you even get to the door. God said, there's a word for you. And as a matter of fact, I hear God saying, listen, I've set before you an open door that no man can shut. I'm telling you right now, when you put God before everything, God before Hamilton Radio, God before your job, God before your family, God said, whatever it is you need, God said, I got it in place. Listen, y'all, I can't make this up. This is a real thing about who God is. Listen, I got this Project I Am that I want to share with you. And then I got one more thing to share with you before we bring on our amazing guest tonight, because there's so much that God wants to share with us, and I'm excited about what he's doing, not just for my life, but in your life as well. It's wonderful to be able to have and know God to the point where, you know what, if God is for us, who can be against us? Listen, no matter what you're dealing with, God is able to handle it. I don't care who it is, what it is, or where it is. Listen, Jesus was talking and said, show me where he is. Lazarus was dead in the grave. But Jesus said, show God wherever it is. As a matter of fact, he already know before you get there. But matter of fact, he trying to get you to agree with the promises that he's already declared for your life. Listen, really quick, I got this Project I Am, but every morning on Facebook at about 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm posting these Project I Ams about who God is and what God has given to me to share with you. Listen, I like this one here. This one here, I had somebody call me They maybe say, thank you for the back pay. So get ready for your back pay. Listen, I am not only going to restore back, but give you some things that you have never seen before. God said, I made you a promise to restore back, not just a moment, but years of overflow and increase. Are you ready to receive your back pay from God? I heard God say, listen, I'm going to give you back pay for all that you have gone through because you decided to still give me praise. God has not forgotten your labor of love that you have shown towards him. He has not forgotten about you. As a matter of fact, God has been with you and is with you. He said, I won't leave you nor forsake you. Hold on to the word. Maintain the word of God in your heart, because eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard what God has in store for you. But guess what? The blessing revealed has been scheduled and moving forth, even as you read this post. Now tell God, thank you for your new blessing is showing up. Give God praise on that. But I'm telling you right now, God said, get ready for your back pay. Everything that you done went through in the years past, God said, I'm going to restore back some greater stuff in your life. God said, because I'm going to be a demonstration to you and to everybody else around you to let them know who God is in your life. Because I'm telling you, this is what this is all about. Listen, y'all, we're getting ready. In about 4 minutes, I'm going to bring on my guest tonight, Dr. Shannon Mason, which I'm excited for her being on our show tonight. And listen, we're getting ready for a women's conference on this Saturday. No broken promises. From 10 o'clock to 12:30 at Second Baptist Church, 100 Durham Avenue in Metuchen, New Jersey. You don't want to miss it. Elder Lenore Artist is going to be our keynote speaker. We're going to have testimonies, praise dance. I'm telling you, I'm going to open up with praise and worship. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to miss free admission. Just come on, free will offering. God gave me this conference. He said, no broken promises. And I'm telling you right now, everything God has declared for your life is coming to pass. I don't care how long it's been. Listen, the man was at the pool for 38 years. The woman had the issue of blood for 12 years. It don't matter how, God can still turn it around. I'm telling you, he's still the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. I'm here to let you know that God is still God. Hold on. Listen, God's not going to put more on you than you can handle through him. I'm telling you, and I'm learning how to trust God. I'm learning how to depend on God. And as he is God, imagine really knowing, Dr. Mason, imagine really knowing that God is on your side. If God is really for, what are we worrying about? The job, the boss, the money, the friend. God said, I am your Jehovah Jireh. God said, I am your provider. So I'm telling you right now, we don't have to worry about what's going on or how it's going to work out. If God can take care of the birds of the air, I know God can take care of me. And I know God can take care of you. He's the same God. I need you to hold on to God. This is what God is giving to share the message about the greatness of who God is, to connect with him, because his power is still working. Not only the blood still working, but his power is too. I'm telling you right now, we're getting ready for an awesome time this weekend. I need you to show up. Listen, you don't want to miss this awesome conference. But listen, get ready, follow me. I'm on Facebook, Troy Alexander. We're on YouTube, Troy Alexander. Listen, we on Amazon. We got a book. I'm going to talk about that at the end of our show, but I am what God said I am. You can go on Amazon and find it there. And everything that God has given me, I'm giving to you. So Dr. Mason's getting ready to come on our show. She's going to take her seat right next to me, and I'm so proud that she is here with us tonight. And I told you that every show, as much as possible, we want to bring on people that have testimonies, that's going to demonstrate, again, the power of who God is. Because, listen, and I got something to share with you, listen, from the book of Daniel, chapter 3, before I let you go tonight. But God is real. God bless you. Dr. Shannon Mason, how are you tonight?
God bless you. I'm great. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited that you are with us.
It's good to be here.
Listen, y'all. Listen, before we get into it, she and I, we met on the job.
Right.
Yeah, so I was working one place, she's working another place, and I don't want to call the name out because I won't get in trouble. But yeah,
one of us doesn't work on that job anymore.
Right? So listen, you are a pastor.
I am.
You are a mentor.
I am.
I mean, you are a counselor.
I used to be.
Listen, you still are. I'm telling you, just in a different way. But tell us, what is the name of your church?
New and Living Way Ministries. We're located at 501B Spruce Street in
Awesome.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm going to have you scoot over a little bit. Because
Sure.
I want to make sure that the mic, that the boom is not covering there. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. And the reason why I had you come on tonight, because I was on Facebook one day and I saw a testimony that you had put on Facebook, and it was talking about a tumor. So listen. That by itself should have made somebody shout, because she's sitting right here now.
I'm sitting right here.
Yeah. Live on an hour of inspiration with Troy, hour of faith with Troy Alexander. So tell me about that testimony and that experience about having a tumor, but you're still here.
Well, so first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Those who know me well know that I go to bed early.
Yes.
So a 9:30 show is really, really a stretch for me.
Yes.
But because it was you,
thank you for your sacrifice.
I said I would do it because,
thank you for your
it was you.
sacrifice. Yes.
And so my niece came with me. She gets animated at night when I'm melting, and so she's going to keep me awake on the drive home.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
So I guess a little over 8 years ago, I was at home. I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, as many of us do, wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And when I got out of bed, everything was spinning. I could not, it wasn't like a just little temporary spinning and that calmed down. I just could not get my bearings. So much so that I just went back to bed.
Wow.
I assumed that I was just overly exhausted and I needed some rest. I called out of work the next day. Thankfully, my best friend and her daughter were spending the night at my house that night.
Wow.
In the middle of the week, they just decided to stay, so they were spending the night. And because when I woke up the next morning, I tried to get up again to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't. So I was literally crawling across the floor.
Wow.
When they came upstairs and found me kind of collapsed on the floor and ended up rushing me to the emergency room.
Wow.
I get to the emergency room, and the emergency room doctor says, well, we think you have vertigo, and we're going to give you something and have you feeling better. You should be feeling better within 45 minutes to an hour, because we're going to give you this medicine that's going to help your vertigo. And so he said, but while you're here, let me just go ahead and give you, an MRI, a CAT scan. Now, mind you, I have a friend that had vertigo. She had been suffering with vertigo for a couple years before they decided to give her MRI and a CAT scan. So they gave me the CAT scan and the MRI. By the time he came back with the results, I was kind of dozing off. So the doctor walks in and he says to me, how long have you had the tumor? And I wait, what?
I can imagine. That was yes.
I had no idea whatsoever that I had a tumor. He proceeded to show me the brain scan. He proceeded to show me the scan. And being a psychologist, I'm kind of familiar with the brain structures and I couldn't figure out what that huge thing in the middle was. And as it turned out, that was a tumor.
Wow.
That was a tumor. So that was just the beginning, if we will. That's like chapter 1.
Well, listen. Before we leave chapter 1, I was inspired by the fact that now you don't normally have people spend the night at your house, or is that normal? No,
they were just there. It was the middle of the week, and they just decided to stay over.
Listen.
Otherwise, I would have been home alone.
Exactly.
And so the blessing in that there was somebody there. Yes.
God had a purpose.
Absolutely.
In them being in the house.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you're like, why? Okay, they're coming over, but God had a purpose.
Absolutely.
And thank God they was there.
Absolutely.
All right. So chapter 1 is thank God put people in place.
Absolutely.
So because if they wasn't there, who would know where you would be here today?
Absolutely.
So thank God. And so now you got the diagnosis.
Uh-huh. So they decided to admit me to the hospital. Okay. Of course, I wasn't happy about that.
Right.
Now, I need to say that prior to this tumor, I had never had any surgery at all.
Wow.
Not a root canal, not a tooth extraction.
What?
I had never, my mother jokes about it. She says, you always do everything big, and your first surgery was a brain surgery. I had never had any surgery at all. So they admitted me to the hospital and, started the process just of doing tests and just trying to figure out what's the best way to approach this. It was called a pituitary backrow adenoma.
Okay.
So in the way that it had grown, it was apparent that it needed to be removed because it was pressing into my occipital lobes. In fact, one of my doctors said the way that they usually find this kind of tumor is that people lose their peripheral vision.
Wow.
And they end up going to the hospital because they lost their peripheral vision.
Right.
And even after they removed the tumor, they never gained back their peripheral vision.
Lord have mercy.
And so I'm here to say, I don't wear glasses.
Come on now.
Contacts.
Yes,
I can see all the way around.
She won't do it like, hey, Troy.
How you doing?
I'm telling you, that's awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So I ended up being admitted to the hospital, and I got a little picky. I'm going to be honest. I am not the most cooperative patient in the world.
All right.
And so they were kind of starting to make recommendations about things they could do. There was medication that I could take, and I would have to take it for a year.
Okay.
And after a year, they would be able to determine if it has started to shrink the tumor.
Wow.
Didn't really like that option.
Okay.
Or there was surgery. And so I met with a surgeon in the hospital. Didn't really like that surgeon. So they kept me for several days in the hospital. And once I was discharged, I started the process, right? Because I wasn't interested in the surgeon that they were interested in.
Right.
I wasn't interested in the number 2 surgeon. I wasn't interested in the number 3 surgeon.
Okay.
But then I'm seeing the endocrinologist and I'm seeing, my primary care doctor. I'm seeing a vision doctor because they want to make sure I haven't lost vision.
Yes,
I'm seeing an ear, nose, and throat specialist. And everyone is saying to me, there is a doctor that would be really, really good for this particular tumor removal.
Okay.
So I look him up, and he's not an accepted provider on my health insurance.
Okay. Oh, Lord.
Doctor after doctor is saying to me, this man is the greatest. Like, he is the one. He is the one. He is the one. I'm like, he does not accept my health insurance. I don't even know, what else to tell you.
Right.
I end up going to see a neurologist. Okay. And the neurologist begins to really explain to me what's going on with the tumor. And he begins to tell me, what the surgical options are from his perspective. And he said, so we're looking at an open skull procedure because it's a very big tumor. Right. And I said, okay, explain that to me. Exactly what do you mean? And he explained, we'll open up your skull. And I said to him, I'm not really feeling that. What else you got? This is what I said to my neurologist.
Yeah.
And he kind of chuckled. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Option number 4.
Right. I said, you have to have something else. And he kind of sat back and he said, I have a colleague that really gets excited about this kind of tumor. Okay. And I said, that's what I want. I want a doctor that's excited about my tumor. This is what I want. And we're kind of laughing, and he goes and he speaks to his assistant, and his assistant runs next door to the next building and comes back and says the doctor will see her tomorrow.
Wow.
Wouldn't you know that the doctor that would see me tomorrow that gets excited about this kind of a tumor is the same doctor that all of my other doctors had been telling me.
I'm telling you. Listen, God got this thing orchestrated.
Completely orchestrated. Meanwhile, I had set up another appointment in Philadelphia.
Right.
And so I said to the doctor, well, what should I do? Because I have this other appointment he said, go see this man. I said, okay, I'm going to go. Okay. So my mother comes down. My mother lives in North Jersey. She comes down, and I don't know if any of your viewers are Grey's Anatomy fans, or you would kind of have to be old Grey's Anatomy fan to get this. Yeah, I understand. But if you were a Grey's Anatomy fan, you'll know that there was a neurosurgeon on Grey's Anatomy that they referred to as Dr. McDreamy.
Okay.
And he has like these blue eyes and this dark, thick hair. And, he's like this rock star neurosurgeon. And so my mom, it says to me, you need a Dr. McDreamy. Like, you need a Dr. McDreamy. So she comes down to go to this doctor's appointment with me. And we're sitting in the waiting room. And we're sitting in the office waiting for him. The door opens and he walks in. Troy.
Don't tell me you look at the man from
my mother and I look at each other like, oh my God. He has the dark, thick, curly hair and the eyes. This is Dr. McDreamy.
Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy.
Oh my goodness. So we begin the consultation with the doctor. But remember, I already discovered that he is not an approved provider for my health insurance. So I'm going through these motions.
He's
but
not
I'm
qualified.
Like, he's not qualified.
Not qualified in terms of your insurance.
Because I can't pay for the surgery out of pocket. I need insurance. I need Aetna to kick on in right here, you know.
Right.
So, you know, he goes through his whole thing. He's looking at the scans and he's telling me, you know, all this stuff. And, you know, he says, you know, given the size of your tumor, we would normally be looking at an open skull procedure. And I'm thinking, man, I already went through that conversation. I'm not doing it. He says, but, you know, you're a young woman. I don't want to have a big scar across your forehead for the rest of your life. Okay. So we can do it transfenoidally.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
He says, we're going to go into your nose and insert your brain through your nose.
Lord have mercy.
And we'll remove the tumor that way.
Lord Jesus.
I've never even had a tooth removed.
Right. But now you're going to go through your nose.
Now you're going to go through my nose and take out my brain tumor. Man, this is really a lot, right?
Right.
He says, because of the size of your tumor, you'll probably have to have more than one surgery because it's really big and we probably won't be able to get it all in one shot.
Now, did they tell you how big the tumor was? Like, did they describe it to you?
They described it to me. It's important to know that the structure that it sat on top of is about the size of a pea.
Okay.
So big is relative, right? Like in your brain and the size of. So it was a very big tumor considering where it was and how it was pressing into the parts of the brain responsible for vision. Okay. So he's going through his whole thing, and I'm like, yeah, I really like this doctor. And I said to him, we have a major problem. He says, what? I said, you are not an approved provider for my health insurance. I will never forget what he said to me. He said, Miss Mason, as a neurosurgeon, I have the best job in the world. I'm here to make sure you have the best quality of life possible. You will not get a bill from the hospital.
Lord have mercy. What? It's already paid. Listen, I'm telling you, when we started this show, I told you that I had a penalty fee to pay for the venue that I couldn't have the event no more. I contacted, they said, the penalty has been waived.
It has been waived.
Lord have mercy. Look at God doing a confirmation. Go ahead.
It has been
Lord
waived.
Have mercy. Wow.
It has been waived.
Lord have mercy.
So we walked out of the doctor's office that day just absolutely amazed. I mean, this doctor, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want everybody calling trying to get free brain surgeries. But needless to say, he is a pioneer.
Wow.
In his field. He has developed procedures. He has developed different things that are used, you know, worldwide in brain surgeries. He's a pioneer in his field. So we get the surgery. We get the surgeon that we want. Now we have to get ready for surgery. And if anybody's ever had surgery, you know, it's more than just like show up the day and have it. There's all the preparation, all the pre-testing.
Now let me ask you. Now, how long is this process? Like are we talking just days? Talking weeks, months?
So I was diagnosed in February. Interesting little quick backstory to that. In December, I had been at Capitol Health Hospital in Trenton for a business meeting. I was there with the vice president of something, and I forget what his particular position was. And while we were in the conference room in the meeting, we heard a helicopter land on top of the hospital. And he was telling us how they have this state-of-the-art neurosurgery program now at Capitol Health. This is in December. This is in December.
2 months before.
2 months.
You were diagnosed.
Before I'm diagnosed.
Lord have mercy.
With a brain tumor. And get treatment at Capitol Health Hospital.
God is just listen, y'all. God is just laying the foundation.
It was laid all out. And I remember thinking at that time, how amazing is this, that this extraordinary resource, people are flying in from other parts of the country to have their brain surgeries in Trenton. This is amazing. 2 months later, I would be one of those people coming to have my brain surgery in Trenton. So diagnosed in February, surgery set for May. All kinds of crazy stuff. They had to get a specific, almost like a GPS mapping of my brain because there was an ear, nose, and throat surgeon that had to get them in through my nose and up into the brain area. And then the neurosurgeon went on the other side, and the ear, nose, and throat doctor became the cameraman. But they had to have a very specific mapping of my brain, not just the brain, my brain, so that everything can be done with great precision. So we get up to the day of the surgery. My friends and family were wonderful. They had this great, party for me the night before. They were just so supportive. Folks just came to help me get things in my house together and make sure I had the things that I need, given the limitations that I would have afterwards. People on my job, really just making sure that I wasn't planning to come back too soon, all that kind of stuff. And I get to the hospital on the day of the surgery. They prep me, they send me up. I've never been through surgery, so all this is new. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? I get in the operating room, Troy. I'm on the operating table.
Okay.
And my heart starts doing something crazy.
All right.
And they cancel my surgery.
What?
Because I have some kind of arrhythmia that's very rare, and they rarely even see. So now all this hype to have this surgery, and then it ends up being canceled. Surgery canceled. I'm admitted to the hospital. I'm like, I just need this to be over with at this point. We ended up rescheduling the surgery for about 2 weeks later.
Okay. Now, are you in the hospital this whole time?
I was not. I was in the hospital for a couple of days, and to be honest, it was a couple of days too long. After the second day, I got up and I got dressed, and I remember my bishop coming in saying, "Are they letting you out today?" I said, "I'm leaving today. I don't know. I'm going. I'm tired of being here. I'm leaving this hospital." So fast forward 2 weeks later, we have the surgery, and I remember waking up, and the first thing I thought, because they had told me that they would have to prep my thigh because there might be some leakage, and they have to remove some fat from my thigh. So the first thing I remember waking up is saying, "Did they cut my thigh? Did they cut my thigh?" Have this surgery. Expecting that it was one of perhaps 2 or 3 surgeries that we'd have to have because of the size of it. And afterwards, the surgeon comes to me in recovery, and he says, "Your surgery was textbook perfect.
Wow.
We got the whole thing."
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all better give God praise on that one right there. Got everything.
Got the whole thing.
That's what I'm talking about. And you still looking at me. With
no glasses.
I don't know if you got 20/20.
No contacts.
I don't know what you got.
Well, it's changing a little bit. That's because I'm getting older, but it's okay.
Lord have mercy. I mean, you can't. This is like a textbook God planned miracle.
You cannot make this up. You cannot.
Lord have mercy.
So I ended up in the hospital for about 5 or 6 days, and there was a lot of very specific requirements around, I couldn't pull things over my head, I couldn't lean over, I couldn't chew anything hard. And one of the most important things they said, because all of my stitching was up through here, no coughing, no sneezing.
Wow.
I have seasonal allergies.
Oh no, Lord Jesus.
So I cough and sneeze, and this was May.
Right?
I cough and sneeze all the time. Which is not difficult when you're in the hospital. It's not hard because, it's a sterile environment.
Sure, absolutely.
But then I was going home. I still had packing from the surgery, stitching, everything from the surgery. Troy, this was May 2011, I believe. From the day I left the hospital, it rained every day.
Wow.
For 5 days. Now, if anybody has seasonal allergies, you know that. You love when the rain comes because the rain comes and washes all the pollen away. Here I am with this major surgery, not able to cough, not able to sneeze.
Wait. You telling me that where you was, I'm assuming in the Trenton or in the South Jersey area, you telling me that God caused it to rain so that you wouldn't cough?
Every single day.
I'm telling you, listen, the God we serve is able.
He is more than able.
He will meet your direct need.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Lord have mercy.
Yes,
so
he
it
will.
rained 5 days.
It rained it rained every single day. The day that it stopped raining was the day that I went back to the hospital to get checked, and then I had to go back again. And I never forget, I was coming. One of the young ladies from the church was driving me from the doctor's office after I had all of my packing and everything removed, and we were driving in the car, and I felt the sneeze.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
And it was like, time stopped, and she was screaming, and I was screaming. I sneezed, and my brain is still in my head, so I guess.
Lord have mercy.
I guess we're okay.
Wow.
One of the things that I learned through that process is that there are many ways in which God works miracles.
Yes, yes, yes.
For some people, they may have thought like the miracle would just be for the tumor to be diagnosed and then for us to pray and the tumor to go away.
Right.
But I realized that me being diagnosed with a tumor without having lost vision was a miracle.
Yes.
Me not being in the house by myself when I became incapacitated was a miracle.
Absolutely.
Me having the doctor who could do it without opening my skull and who was the best possible person in the region to do it was a miracle. The fact that he did it for free.
Come on now.
What the hospital accidentally sent me a bill.
Lord Jesus.
That was well over $100,000. Well over $100,000.
Wow.
I took it to his office. He apologized and brought out his business manager and said, "We are so sorry for this inconvenience." I said, "Bro, I just had to drive the bill here. It's fine. It's not a problem."
Somebody need to hear that.
That was a miracle.
Yes.
The fact that it rained every day when I came out of the hospital.
Yes.
That was a miracle. There are miracles are not just the removal of an obstacle. Sometimes the miracle is the way that you see the grace and the provision of God as you walk through that challenging season. The fact that I was out of work but did not miss a bill or a beat was a miracle.
That's a miracle.
The people that God sent to be a blessing, encourage, support, that was a miracle. There were so many miracles embedded in this whole situation.
And guess what? You being on this show tonight is
a miracle. It's a miracle.
I'm telling you, y'all, right here, you're looking at Dr. Shannon. She is here tonight. Listen, but your vision is intact.
My vision is intact.
Your thought process is intact.
It's absolutely intact.
Your money is intact.
My money is, hallelujah. For this we give God praise.
Yes.
For this we give God praise.
It is, and what, this is why, as God gives me the show and he directs me, like I don't just ask, like I saw and I felt God moving to say, you know what, I'm going to ask. Because the Lord said, I can ask and it shall be given. I can knock and the door shall.
Right.
And so this is God's will, God's alignment that you are here tonight, giving because somebody needed to hear that tonight.
Absolutely.
And again, Dr. G, who knew there was going to be a confirmation about the debt being paid, about the bill being paid? I'm just saying, I said, God, what do you want me to? He gave me about the debt being paid tonight.
Absolutely.
That was the testimony that God told me to share. So I'm telling you, it's you have miracle on top of miracles.
Miracle on top of miracle.
Because when you mess with the brain, I mean, that's
it's major. And, one of the things that was, there were so many things that were blessed in this whole process. But so my the maintenance of kind of the wound, I guess it was, happened at the ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Okay.
And there was a technician at the ear, nose, and throat doctor who is a neurosurgeon of some sort in his country, but not certified here, so he works as a technician. Okay. And he will always talk to me when I came in, and he would say, I remember him saying to me, "You don't know what the surgeon did for you." He said, because I began to get a little impatient with my recovery process. Why am I still having headaches? Why am I still, because you had brain surgery, right? You're going to have headaches. And he said, you don't know what the surgeon did for you. He said, you think that because you can't see your scars, that what happened wasn't major.
Wow.
He said, but you had a major brain surgery.
Yes.
And you have to be patient. I mean, it was like every time I came in there, he was telling me again, you had brain surgery. You had brain surgery. You can't see the scars, but you had brain surgery. Wow. You can't see. So even the fact that, God, for some reason, my neurologist was telling me this, my neurosurgeon was telling me this, but it was that technician.
Yes.
Right? I could hear it from him.
Right.
And he was like the little angel that God sent to, please help her understand that she really does need to take 2 more weeks off work because she had brain surgery. Please help her understand that it's okay that people are still cooking for her and driving her because she had brain surgery.
Yes.
Like, so all the ways that even helped me to be able to receive help, to be able to accept the gift of limitations, because we all have limitations, and sometimes we need not to plow through them, but to accept that we have limitations, and to really be able to see the wealth of love and support that was all around me. I'm telling you, miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle.
Wow, listen, I gotta just share the Lord just if you go to the book of Daniel, chapter 3, I just want to read this one verse because as Dr. Mason was talking, this is one thing that I wanted to share with you, verse 27. And it says, and the princes, and this is about, again, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and we know the story about them in the furnace and the king. But this says, and the princes, governors, captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies, now they in the furnace now, all right, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was hair on their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
Yeah.
Listen, this is the same God that we serve.
Yeah.
And what I love about that, I kept reading that over, Dr. Mason. I kept reading, it said the fire had no power.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, the same God, whatever you dealing with, and what I love about what you said earlier, it's about the process,
right,
of being able to still have a relationship and a connection with who God is, even through the fire.
Even through the fire.
So I'm learning, as you said. Sometimes we pray, Lord, take the blockage away. But God is trying to elevate us inside the process, inside the fire. Because if you notice, these young men, they were bound before they got in.
Right.
But in the fire, they got loose.
Free. Yeah,
I'm just saying, you know. But it was in the fire that Jesus showed up.
Yeah.
But he was always there.
Yeah.
But others couldn't see until they was in the fire.
Until they were in the fire.
And so your testimony, you being through that fiery experience, has been a blessing because other people now can see Christ.
And it really,
you.
yes, and it really was, I was supposed to be going on a ministry trip to Liberia that I had to back out of because having brain surgery, so I can't come. But a dear friend and brother of mine and some others went, and it was amazing. He said, we're traveling to different churches in Liberia, and everybody's asking about you. They're praying for you. You know, people that we knew, that we were connected to, that were unbelievers, were praying for me. So there was really like this unifying happening in the body of Christ. And being someone who was, a little overly independent, and I could do it by myself, and I'm fine. It was a releasing of ways in which I was bound.
Right. Wow.
As I passed through that process.
Wow, that's powerful. Listen, y'all, I can't, if you want to call into the show, you can ask myself a question, Dr. Mason. The number's on the screen, but you can definitely call in at 609-807-2492, 609-807-2492. Listen, I'm excited because this is amazing. Now, have you ever shared your testimony like this before?
I've shared it. So I've shared it, one-on-one with folks mostly. Yeah. And I think I've probably shared it with a couple of groups of people.
Well,
but
I'm telling you right now, not only do we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, but by the word of their testimony.
Amen.
People are being victorious through your victory.
Amen. Absolutely.
Tonight, because I am a true believer that people need to see people that have gone through different things. Listen, I said earlier, we talk about the Red Sea. Listen, I'm a believer. The Red Sea happened. The Lord opened up the what, but I choose to believe God like that. And you have to get to a place where, listen, listen, you might say, oh, no, she's sitting right here. The bill was paid. She got a vision. She ain't got no missed thoughts. Now, let me ask you, during this time, were you still preaching? Because you're a pastor. So, yeah, she's awesome. So, were you preaching, or did you have somebody fill in for you? What was happening?
So, it's really interesting because when I was first diagnosed with the tumor, and I was in the hospital for a couple of days, and when I got ready to be discharged from the hospital, a pastor friend of mine said, "You aren't going to preach on Sunday, are you?" And I said, "Well, apparently, I've been preaching with a brain tumor for years."
Wow.
Because the tumor had been there. It had been growing for years. I said, it may be that I've never preached without a brain tumor.
Lord, have mercy.
So, yes, I'm going to preach this.
Listen. She was preaching with the tumor.
I've been preaching with the
So
tumor.
I'm gonna
all
preach
the
after the
time.
tumor.
Now I know I have
Lord,
tumor. I'm
have
just going to
mercy.
keep on preaching.
That's right. Lord have mercy.
So I did. I preached up until the time
Wow.
for my surgery.
Wow.
And then after the surgery, I wasn't able to preach. I would say it may have been about 6 weeks or something like that. But even in that, our church leadership, they were absolutely extraordinary.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
And not just with support with the church, but there was a time that I wasn't able to drive. And so people were taking me not just to doctor's appointments, but hair appointments, because you feel better about yourself and your healing when you get your hair done.
Absolutely.
So, but of course, as soon as I was healed enough to be back on the pulpit, I was definitely back. But I remember the first time going to church, and we're a charismatic church, and so we have drums, and we have everybody was kind of trying let's keep the drums at a minimum.
Don't play too loud, y'all.
Not too loud.
She just had brain surgery.
She just back for the first time.
Yeah, right. Oh, I love it.
But I absolutely did. I absolutely did.
That's amazing. And so you listen. You don't look like what you've been through.
For that we give God praise.
Come on now. Come on. And I go back because God, He keep emphasizing this chapter, Daniel chapter 3 and verse 27. Listen, their coats didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even have the smell of smoke or fire.
Yeah.
They came out as though they had never been in.
Yeah.
You sit here like you had never had surgery.
Yeah.
And this is who people need to hear. Faith coming about what? Hearing and hearing about the word of God. So I'm just grateful for you tonight being on our show and sharing your testimony. Listen, it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
We got to get back. We got to do some things together.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you, but it's so wonderful to hear your testimony. How can people follow you? Because I know you're a pastor. You got a church. Are you on social media?
I am. So I've only been on Facebook just a little over a year.
Listen,
because I'm on Facebook now though.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, it's in God's plan. God let her go on Facebook in enough time for me to see the testimony post to have her on my third show right here on Hamilton Radio. I'm telling you, it's all aligned. God got a plan for all of this, and God got a reason for this happening tonight. Even after you told me, you don't drive a lot at night and all that, but God had a purpose for all of this.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm thanking God. I'm grateful that He's allowed you to come out tonight and share your so how can they follow you?
So I am on Instagram, Shannon Mason 8, and I am on Facebook, Shannon Mason. And our ministry is also on Facebook. We stream live every Sunday, our morning worship services. But would love to have you all come and join us. We're at 501B Spruce Street, Trenton, New Jersey. Our services start at 10 o'clock. And we're just folks who love God, love worship, love the word, and love each other. Our mission is reconciling hearts and fulfilling destinies. And we firmly believe that God has called us to reconciliation, not only between God and man, but also within ourselves. We need reconciliation in between man and man.
I love it.
That we may be able to fulfill our destinies.
Y'all better give it up for Dr. Shannon Mason. I'm telling you right now, we're so proud of you, and just thank God for giving you this testimony.
Thank you.
That you have blessed so many others, everybody watching, and people that's going to go back and watch this show over and over again, and say, you know what, God, if God can bring her through something that looks potentially unbreakable, undoable, God can do it for me. He's the same God.
And I just want to encourage people that not even with the big things, even the little things. Absolutely. I was on steroids for, I don't even remember how many months after the surgery, and did not gain weight.
Wow.
Now, when does that happen?
No, it's true.
Just
That's
a
true.
little, even just a little. I mean, given all that I've been through, gaining weight wouldn't have been the end of the world because I've gained weight without having brain surgeries and steroids. But even just the little things, just so the big things and the little things and all of the things in between. God is faithful.
Yes, He is.
God is faithful, and He is continually inviting us to trust in Him, to trust in Him, to trust in Him, and He is continually coming through for us.
Yes, I'm so thankful, and my whole mission for this show is to really encourage people to to trust God like he is God. You know what? Why are we worrying about all this stuff when God said, I've already taken care of it for you? He said, I will supply your every need.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have to try to find the provision of how it's going to work out. God said, take thought for itself.
Yes. And it doesn't mean that we won't go through valleys,
No,
right? I heard one of our ministers recently preached a message, and he preached on Psalm 23, and he was talking about the verse that says, you know, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you know, you're with me, and goodness and mercy follow me. And he was talking about that word, that phrase, goodness and mercy follow me. What it follows me, what it really means is pursues. So that in the valley, goodness and mercy are pursuing us. Wow. Can you imagine that?
Lord have mercy.
And how many times have we seen that in our lives?
Yes.
We would love to just jump from mountaintop to mountaintop.
Exactly.
Right?
Like,
God, can I have that life? Just mountaintop to mountaintop. Right.
I'll skip the valley.
Right. And it's okay if it's a lower mountain, but still a mountain, right?
Exactly.
But we have valley seasons.
Yes, we
whether
do.
It's with respect to our health or our, finances, our relationships, our children, whatever it is, our jobs, we have valley seasons.
Yes, we do.
But the assurance of knowing that goodness and mercy are pursuing us.
Yes.
Like chasing us down.
Come on.
Even in the valley. That is the joy that it is to be a believer and to trust in God. To know that even though I'm in this valley, it's some goodness and mercy around here somewhere.
Come on now. Yeah, listen, I'm telling you. And it was funny because I had just wrote on Facebook that he's the same God in the valley as he is on the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And then he brought back to me Ezekiel. He said, if anybody ask Ezekiel about the valley and what God can do in the valley. I'm telling you, he brought them dry bones together. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it don't matter where you are. As long as God is with you, you all right.
Amen.
Because if anybody can, God can keep you. God said, I won't leave you nor forsake you, but I'll be with you always. I'm telling you, this is the God that we serve. And I'm telling you, Dr. Mason, I am on a mission to continue to demonstrate who God. Listen, it might be raining, but God is still in control.
He's still in.
Listen,
maybe the rain is necessary.
The rain took the pollen away. Listen, there is purpose for all of this.
For all of it.
I may not understand it, but God said, I got purpose in it.
Yeah.
If I went back and talked to Joseph would look back and say, listen, what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around for my good. And that's why the Bible says all things are working for our good. I don't care. Whatever the diagnosis is working for my good. God got purpose in it. And so, listen, God is allowing us to go through these things so that somebody can be a live demonstration. Somebody can be a live Moses and a live Ruth and a live demonstration of who God is. Today. Now, I ain't got to go back to Mark and Luke. I can just turn on Hamilton Radio and listen to Dr. Mason. Or go to her church.
God's still working miracles.
Yes, he's still in the miracle working business.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation that God is changing my conversation. You know, I don't like talk like no. God is God. Listen, when God is on my side, what am I worrying about?
Yeah.
He told Gideon, you got too many people, brother. You got to listen. I need not only for you, but people around you to know that I got you. That your victory all the glory belongs to who? God. And that's who we're giving all the praise to. Listen, y'all, I'm so grateful for you, Dr. May. Is there anything else, any shout outs you want to give? Anyone you want to acknowledge? Well, of course, we acknowledge the grace of God, but anyone else you want to give a shout out to? Because this is your platform. I'm grateful that you're here tonight. I got a few more things before we end the show that I got to share with you, but I'm grateful that you're here, Dr. Mason.
It's so good to be here.
Oh, my goodness. We have to do some stuff together.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It has been. It has been. We had, years ago, we had brought some young people.
When we first started our church, we used to have praise parties.
Yes, you did.
We used to bring your young people.
The step team came and performed.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
And our church is 14 years old now, so that's been some time ago.
That's been some time ago.
Yes.
But God said it's the right time.
It's the right time. I want to shout out New and Living Way Ministries, my New and Living Way family. I always say we're not a perfect church. If so, we would have stopped being perfect when I got there. But we are a loving, faithful house of believers. We're reconciling hearts, fulfilling destiny. I want to thank God so much for my New and Living Way family. I want to thank God for my biological family, the Mason family, my parents and my sister and brother. I want to thank God for my niece again, who's here with me to make sure I stay awake and animated on the road. She has her driver's permit too, so she knows how to correct me when I'm not doing something, or when I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. And just to encourage you to hang in there. You've always been an encourager. Always been, has had such a gift of exhortation and strengthening people and giving them, helping them to see all that God intends for them and has for them. And so you continue to fight the good fight of faith and continue to do the work that the Lord has given you. His lives are being changed by it.
Well, thank you, and thank God. I'm grateful to all of who God is, and I have a testimony, and I'm sure you know, or a lot of people know, but I didn't have this show 3 months ago. But God opened his door. I thank you to Dr. G. I thank to Hamilton Radio for allowing us to come and just to share. And guess what, y'all? I got an announcement to make. Y'all know I do the Monday show, right? That's a Inspiration with Troy Alexander. This is the Hour of Faith with Troy Alexander. But the one on Monday night is about dreams, vision, and purpose, and we bring on guests. But guess what, y'all? The person who had the show before mine is off for the summer months, because her platform is about school, things that go on in the school. So when school's out, she's off the show, so she doesn't have a show. So I have been blessed. The door, Hamilton Radio has opened the door for me for the month of July and August to have another faith-based moment segment every Monday night from 7:15 to 7:45 before my 8 o'clock show. So listen, I'm telling you, I can't. All I'm encouraging you to do is keep walking. As they went, the Bible said they were healed. God said, keep on moving. Whatever you're doing, keep on moving in. And don't go by how many likes you get. I don't know how many likes you got on that testimony, but that testimony brought you here. All I'm saying is, don't go by the number of likes. Don't go by how many people have showed up, because it could be just that one. God can and it could be that one that's going to take you to another place. So I'm grateful. So yes. So beginning in July, I'm excited. On Monday night, I don't have the date with me, but whatever that first Monday is next month, from 7:15 to 7:45, we're going to go forth again to expound and just encourage and uplift. And I'm telling you, listen, also, August 1st, you all know we have a Bible book club. We do it once a month at the E-Hotel Conference Center in Edison, New Jersey. So we're going to have our next one. We're off for next month, but because of my schedule and so forth. But August 1st, Thursday, August 1st, 7:45 at the E-Hotel Banquet and Conference Center in Edison, New Jersey. Farrington Center, if you're free, come on out. We just expound on, this is what God gave me, Dr. Mason, a Bible book club. And it's no one coming to say this is what the Bible means. It's like we read a book, like you read like a book club, and you share what you receive from that chapter or from that verse or from the chapter. And so we all come together and we encourage each other. And expound, and it's been wonderful. Our last one was live, and it was amazing. It was awesome. So I'm telling you, these are things that God has given us. And I'm just so excited about. I'm actually humbled that He even, talks to me and shares His word with me in that way. But I praise God tonight. Listen, I want to make one more announcement. Again, shout out on this Saturday. We're having a women's conference, our first one through our nonprofit, Called to Inspire Incorporated. Follow us on calledtoinspire.org. That's our website. So www.calledtoinspire.org. Follow us, all of our events. But June 22nd, this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 at Second Baptist Church, 100 Durham Avenue in Metuchen, New Jersey. We have a wonderful keynote, Elder Lenore Artist. She's an amazing speaker, and we're just excited that she's coming. And God gave me this subject matter, this heading, no broken promises. I was sitting in the house one day, and God said, no broken promises. It doesn't matter how late it is in the midnight hour. God still can turn it around. It doesn't matter how long something had. Listen, there was a man in the grave 4 days. His name was Lazarus. And
he stinketh by now.
Come on now. I'm telling you. I mean, he stink. But God was able to keep him to the point where when he called his name, what was in the grave, what was buried, had to get up. And that's the same God. God said, calling those things that are not as though they were. We have a segment on this show and also on our Monday show called I Am Declaration. And it is about declaring, opening your mouth and declaring something that God has destined for your life. And listen, I've told them all along, Dr. Mason, I'm going to be a billionaire. I've declared it. But the reason why I do that is because there's an expectation that I have in God that there are no limits in God. Don't you put no limit on God. I don't care how much it costs or what it is. He can make that $100,000 free. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know. So that's the God that we serve. And I'm just saying. And I was telling somebody. I said, imagine us having these conversations every day. How strong we would be by having, because we are encouraging each other about in the greatness of who God is. Yeah. So listen, y'all, I'm excited. I got about 6 minutes left on the show. I told you about the I Am What God Said I Am book. You can go on Amazon.com and put in M. Troy Alexander or I Am What God Said I Am. This is volume 2, Dr. Mason. We did a volume 1. All right, sir. So volume 1 is 50 of the writings that we do every morning. The Project I Am on Facebook. So we took 50. Now, we have been doing that for like 6 years. Okay. Every morning from Monday to Friday. And so God said it was time to write a book. I said, okay, Lord. So I took 50 of them, put them in the book. That was volume 1. This is 100 of them. So listen, I get up in the morning. I can't. I sit at the laptop and God just pours into me. And I type. That's extraordinary. So great discipline. Listen, it's and all I'm trying to do is to be a demonstration of the power and the authority of who God is. Because at the end of the day, I told Dr. I said, listen, we're trying to make heaven. All this is all good, but it don't profit us to gain the world and lose our soul. It's about heaven. So I'm so grateful tonight. Any last words that you want to share with our audience? Well, speaking about books. Yes! Because somebody was going to say, you didn't say anything about your book the whole time you were on the show. Yes. I didn't bring a copy of my book. Well, I got to have you back. I wasn't thinking. That's okay. No. But I do have a book entitled Vital Distinctions, Richer Relationships for a More Satisfying Life. It is available on Amazon. Some people have said they wanted to get an autographed copy. So if you do, message me on Facebook and we can arrange that as well. I want one. And it's all about exactly what it says. How do we have richer relationships for a more satisfying life? I wrote it because as a pastor and as a therapist, I found myself dealing with a lot of the same issues. And it's really about all kinds of relationships, not just family relationships or not just romantic relationships, but also professional relationships. One of my favorite sections is called When Loving You Is Killing Me. Wow. And it's about toxic relationships and how do we identify them, and then how do we emotionally restructure them? Because sometimes we have toxic relationships with people we can't just break up with because they might be in our family or something. So I'm some people. I'm just saying some people. So. Even in the house. Even in the house. Vital Distinctions, Richer Relationships for a More Satisfying Life. Available on Amazon. I love it. Please go there and buy and purchase and support it, because I'm definitely going to get mine, because I got to get my signed copy. Absolutely. So listen, I got to come to your church. We got to set a date. So I come to your church. Absolutely. What time does your service start again? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. All right. So listen, I'm excited to you. I got about 3 minutes left on the show, but I'm just grateful tonight because of all of God's blessings in my life. And I said, God, whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do. I told God, I said, I'm ready. I said, it's time to go out there and walk by faith and not by sight. Don't go by what we see. Listen, I don't know how all of this stuff comes together. I don't know how. Listen, if you want to support this show and be a sponsor of the show, let me know. Email me at calledtoinspire at AOL.com, or IamInspiredTroy@gmail.com, or m.troyalexander@yahoo.com. There's multiple ways. You got them all the email addresses. I got every one of them. So if you want to be a sponsor of this show and help this ministry, just let me know. You can email me. But we're excited about everything God is doing. The one thing I love about it, Dr. Mason, Wherever God tells you to go, the provision is already made.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whatever God has assigned you to do, the bill has been paid. The check has been written.
Absolutely.
God said, I done already wrote it back on Calvary. God said it's been signed, sealed, and delivered. Mm-hmm. So all we're doing is walking by faith into what God has destined for our life. Listen, I'm excited and I'm glad. Listen, July is coming, y'all. For 30 minutes before our Monday night show, we're going to be able to inspire and expound. And I'm getting ready, Dr. Mason, to do a live weekly prayer.
Okay.
On Facebook.
Okay.
Send in your prayer requests.
Yes.
I'm telling you, because God is doing some things right now. When you think God is not moving, he's still moving.
And can I just make a request?
Yes, you can.
If people send in prayer requests, can you please send in a praise report when God does it?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
People have us praying for stuff and they never tell you God did it. God did it. So please send a request. Yes. But then when God answers the prayer, send a message saying God did what you prayed for.
So now with Dr. Mason, I'm going to have a live show, a prayer request show, and then a second one of a praise report show. I'm telling you, listen, we sit right here. So not just a prayer request show, but a praise report show. I'm telling you right now, you can't make this up. Only God, listen, God will reveal right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Right now. So how much time we got left, Dr. G? I know we got about a minute or two or so. Okay, got another minute. But yes, so a live prayer request show and a live praise report show.
You got a lot of shows.
Come on now. Listen, I'm telling you, somebody said, Troy, you're going to be doing this full time. I said, listen, I'm getting ready for the talk show.
Okay.
I put on the Monday show, even this show. Listen, you can come and watch this show live. I'm getting ready to go off, but listen, you can come here on every third Thursday. You can come here every Monday night from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Well, now you can come from 7:15 to 7:45 for July and August. But we have chairs. You can sit right here and watch it live right here in the studio.
Yeah.
So if you know anybody that wants to come either on the third Thursday or Monday night, let me know, RSVP, and we'll make sure we get you in. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Shannon Mason.
Thanks for having me. We
appreciate you. Listen, I'll see you again third Thursday of next month, but I'm coming back the first Monday in July. So mark your calendars, whatever that is, 7:15 to 7:45, and then follow us again at 8 o'clock live for another show on Monday night. Have a great night. God bless you. And know that no matter what it is, God is able. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you.